All right, good evening, everybody. You guys ready?
Yes.
All right. This is the New Shoreham Town Council meeting for Thursday, July 29th, 7 p.m. The meeting is in person and via Zoom. When prompted, if you'd like to raise your hand, you would you'd have on your phone, you would do so by pressing *9, mute and unmute by pressing *6. Supporting documents for this agenda are on Clerkbase, and there is one item on the agenda this evening, and is discuss and act on an emergency town ordinance to mitigate the spread of COVID-19 to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the residents and the visitors to the town, which are imminently imperiled by the unforeseen circumstance of a large spike in the increase of COVID-19 cases in the town, as reported by the Block Island Medical Center. I'm going to start this meeting off by asking if Dr. Walkup's online. Dr. Walkup, are you with us?
I am.
Thank you. I'm just wondering if you have another update for us.
I do. Can you hear me okay?
Everybody hear Doctor all right?
Yep.
Yes, Doctor.
So thank you. I wanted to give an update similar to what we did last year. So there's some similarities. On the July 21st genetic sampling, the state did nearly 4,000 samples and they had 42 positives for the Delta variant. The vast majority of them are the Alpha variant, or what we used to know as the UK strain. The state replicated that for the July 28th reporting period, about just shy of just over 3,900 samples, and now have 46 positives of the Delta variant. So it shows a continued penetration into the community. If we trace it back a little bit further over the past 3 to 4 weeks, or the past 3 weeks, that Delta variant penetration has gone from 0.34% of all the samples to now 1.17% as of today. So definitely a sharp rise over the last several weeks. Rhode Island Department of Health also reports out on new cases of coronavirus in our state, and has risen steadily over that same period of time. It was at 28 cases per 100,000 nearly a week and a half ago, through 57 new cases on Wednesday, and from between Wednesday and the reporting period of today, we're at 76.3 cases, so nearly a 50% rise in just several days. We are still in the substantial transmission category, which is the second highest rating there's only one higher once we, as a state, hit 100 per 100,000. In the same vein, similar data is our sewage trends show that we have elevated levels equaling that of what we had in November of 2020 and January of 2021. So it is in our community. If anybody likes to peruse the graphs on the DOH website, they report out total rates of COVID-19 per cases of per 100,000 by cities and towns. And right now we are ahead of what, we're actually worse than what South Kingston is. And also Narragansett is sharply on the rise. You'll see a graph that comes down from Providence, Central Falls, Pawtucket, and those are the more dense areas of our state, but it's starting to grow down towards the southern end of the state. Between Rhode Island DMAT and our Block Island Volunteer Fire Department and the medical center, we've had 14 positives, with 4 from those that have been previously vaccinated. The data that is out on a daily basis shows that the Moderna vaccine is holding up well, which is the predominant vaccine that we have on the island. It was what we used solely during the winter months when we vaccinated our year-round islanders. But excitingly, DMAT and the Block Island Fire Department will also be holding a Saturday vaccination and testing session. They had terrific responses this week with 120 tests on Tuesday. I didn't get a total count for today. They gave out 60 vaccinations today, which is wonderful, but they'll also be doing a vaccine event and testing event on Saturday at the fire barn.
Thank you, Doctor. Council, have any questions for the doctor?
Well, just to reiterate, Tom, can you hear me? Tom?
I can hear you.
Yeah. Just to reiterate, in today's testing, there were no positive cases. Is that right?
That's correct, to my knowledge.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Can I have a question?
Yeah.
Microphone doesn't like me. Dr. Walkoff, how many people do you say have been vaccinated?
Today, we did 60 people today at the fire barn.
Do we know how many were done before that?
I can get you that total number. Do you want one since the beginning of the year or just kind of averages per day?
Sorry, I'm having microphone problems.
Yep, we'll get it right. Keep it far away from you. No?
No, it's not working.
Try now.
It's just, I'm just trying to understand, do we have any sense of how many people out here aren't vaccinated? If there's like, just your basic core of people who aren't going to be, if there's a big block? Do we have any handle on that at all?
I don't think we'd have very good data to give you. I think we'd be guessing at best. We certainly know what our year-round population is, but due to the fluid nature of the people on and off the island, I think it would be very difficult to get you a reasonable, educated answer.
Like, I guess I'm thinking more in terms of the people who are here, workers and such, people who are actually here for more than a few days.
My feeling would be that there's still a substantial percentage of people that are working here that could benefit from vaccine.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Martha. Anybody else? Council? So the council has received feedback from a number of individuals regarding tonight's proposed ordinances. The number of people requested the council not adopt an indoor mask ordinance, and others request the council adopt an ordinance. At the same time, council members received calls from our elderly population with concerns as to whether it's safe to go to the grocery store. I think we're all in agreement. In recent weeks, we have seen an increase in positive cases on Block Island, Rhode Island, and nationally, and we cannot ignore these statistics. Since our meeting on Monday, the CDC has announced a new indoor mask guidance. Governor McKee has announced mask guidance for students in grades K through 12 for the upcoming academic year. At this time, I would like to propose to the council, we adopt a resolution instead of an ordinance requesting to voluntarily wear a mask indoors at all public spaces. The town manager is prepared to work with our EMA director to, if possible, secure a supply of free masks through the state federal government. And if none are available, they will explore the best means for our local businesses to purchase masks. The town manager will continue to work with the Chamber of Commerce and others to continue to educate the need for all to get vaccinated and maintain safe practices. As a reminder, the town is working with the State of Rhode Island Disaster Medical Assistance Team, DMAT, to provide COVID testing and vaccine at the rescue run on Tuesdays and Thursdays. With the recent increase in individuals requesting testing, DMAT has added this coming Saturday as an additional testing day. So I guess we're asking all the businesses to encourage their guests, visitors, or shoppers to voluntarily wear a face mask indoors and in public places. As we were last year, we're all in this together. We must continue to work together as we have for the past 18 months. So I'd like to make a motion. We direct the town solicitor and the town manager to draft a resolution encouraging/requesting all to wear a face mask when in public building. This resolution would be voted on at this coming Monday, August 2nd, town council meeting.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded by Councilor Stover. Does anybody have any comments, council?
I'm worried about microphones. Yeah, I'm gonna turn yours off, I'll turn mine off. I'm very much in favor of a recommend request. I think we can work in cooperation with all the businesses. I think everybody, in my opinion, wants to do the right thing and is working to a balance. So I'm definitely in favor of that. I do have, as we go through the conversation, look forward to hearing from everybody, but I do have some specific ideas and some thoughts that we can build into it so that then Monday night we've got something very tight. But I'm there on this.
Anybody, council?
Andre, I'm open-minded about this, but I want to hear more from businesses.
Yeah.
Definitely. I know they must embrace this idea, but I don't know if I'm ready to embrace it if the businesses have been in any way, shape, or form delinquent or negligent or lazy with trying to get all their employees vaccinated to begin with. So I'm going to reserve my judgment until I hear from the businesses and I can ask them some questions.
And just for the online folks that are here, we do have a room quite full of business owners here. I want to get some comments from the council, and then we're going to go, if anybody has any comments, questions, or concerns from the audience and from the online crowd, we'll do that after the council speaks. Anybody?
I mean, I'm saying the same thing I usually say. I'm a lot more concerned with net result than I am with ordinance or even resolution. I just want people to do the right thing. I'm probably being very idealistic here, but you know, we got through last summer. We can get through this summer. Everybody's just got to cooperate and not be adversarial and hope the weather holds.
Thank you, Councilor. Good? Public, anybody? Chris Willie?
I think if you look at what the business is.
You may have to turn it off.
Do you really want me to use a mic? I think if you look at what the businesses have already done since the spike has happened, everybody that's responded accordingly, voluntarily shutting down, getting all their employees tested. And I think the course of action of working with businesses and a resolution is more appropriate and less adversarial. What the medical center and the fire barn are doing is actually proactive. You can go, you know, we recommend and ask all of our employees to go get tested, get vaccinated if they haven't been, wear masks. We're doing all those things. And I think all the businesses here are doing all those things. And if I can ask the doctor, he gave us the Thursday statistics, but what were the Tuesday statistics?
Dr. Workup, you on?
Yes, go ahead.
The question from the audience was Tuesdays, you mentioned today's results. Tuesday's results from testing, I think it was, no, go ahead.
I didn't say anything.
Oh, can you let us know the results from Tuesday?
2 positives and 1 presumptive positive from the office.
Out of 120?
Correct.
Thank you, Chris. Lars Trodson?
Just a quick question. Lars Trodson, Block Island Chamber of Commerce. I think I heard the doctor say that there were 14 positive cases. Does that include the 11 that constituted the original spike that we talked about a week or so ago?
That's correct. That's everybody over the past 3 weeks.
3 positive cases down from the initial 11?
Yep. There were 2 on Tuesday and 1
Right.
semi-positive and then none today.
Okay, does the doctor consider that a hopeful sign, or would he characterize that in any way?
I would characterize it as it is a hopeful sign. What I was fearful of is that original 11 that exposed other people, that those individuals now would become positive. We haven't seen that yet, which is truly remarkable. And what I would say is that now I would pivot to the people coming here and seeing the numbers in the communities in which they're coming from would be concerning. But it is a positive sign for us that we've only had 3 additionals in the past week.
Doctor, if I can just continue that question, because today you said there were something like 66 COVID tests, COVID vaccinations. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And is that a spike or is that an increase from your typical Thursday testing over the last month?
Yeah, I could definitely clarify that with the team, but I would say yes. We were getting roughly in that, not too long ago, we were getting 20, 25, 30, maybe a 40 day. So 60 vaccinations at this particular point is a very positive sign.
So I guess a little bit to what I said earlier, and Andre and Chris just mentioned, is it seems the businesses or people are now not only getting tested, but also reaching out and getting vaccinated if they were at a higher rate than they were weeks ago.
I think that'd be a fair statement.
Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Any other questions, comments from the public? Kathy Payne. Kathy Payne.
Kathy Payne, God-fearing patriot. I want to ask Dr. Warkup, what test are you using?
We use a combination of the Binax Now and the PCR testing.
Are you aware of the fact that last week George Soros and Bill Gates bought a new manufacturing plant for testing COVID because it has been proven that the PCR tests are not accurate? Are you
I wasn't aware of that.
in the news last week? National news. The PCR tests are not accurate. We can't talk about it. More important, mandating masks is an infringement on mine and half of the people I've talked to. Constitutional rights. There's lawsuits all over the country, and I'm willing and I have the backing to sue the town if you make us wear masks.
Thank you for your input, Kathy.
Can you just clarify that that's not even on the table?
Exactly.
Please,
Repeat it.
repeat it.
It's just, that's just not, the discussion's not on the table about what Soros and everybody else is.
I'm educated on the subject. I
And
study
masks
it, and I
and-
could have a
What? Finish it up.
PhD in it.
Jump in.
And I'm a patriot, and you pay attention to the national news. Towns all over America, churches are suing for this. We want our freedom, and if we don't, I don't buy into all of this COVID. It's China. China, Myrna, it's all China. It's pharmaceutical. Everyone knows it that does their research. You can't prove me wrong, because if you do your research, you'll find the facts. I'm educated. I've been to several colleges. I'm not a hillbilly. I'm an educated hillbilly, and I'm a patriot. And of course, we don't have the news here to report it, and we'll see if our mask-wearing paper will report my truth.
The point that I was asking Andre to make was, what is the very beginning of this? We are not doing, the ordinance is off the table right now. We're not talking about that, Kathy.
Oh, we're not talking about this piece of paper?
We're not talking about a proposed ordinance.
No, Kathy, I made a motion to do a resolution instead of a resolution to ask for us to work together for this and not an ordinance forcing anybody to do anything.
That was at the beginning of the meeting.
That was at the
Is it
beginning.
money for nothing? Because I would be cabin right now, so I can pay my taxes, $18,000 a year.
That's okay, Kathy.
Well, I said my piece.
We appreciate your input. Anybody else have any comments? Thank you, Frank.
And the drum roll.
How are you going to follow up with that?
Do I need to state my name or?
Yes.
My name is Frank DeBase III, a little short for the microphone. First of all, thank you, Town Council, for getting over my fear of public speaking. I'm pretty good at it now. So also, thank you for recognizing we didn't need to mandate this. And I really would respect if you would work with businesses a little bit more one-on-one. Before you even had your meeting last week, we already asked our staff at the Spring House to everyone to wear masks. So without you even knowing that, you impulsively went down this road, and I'm here on the busiest day of the week, taking the time out of mine. And as you know, you saw it in the news, the negative feedback and news about Block Island. So far, we've had nothing but great families on this island like it should be. And we're just reporting negative news without even consulting our businesses. And I'm sick of doing this. Last year, we went down the same road. You don't have facts, you don't do research, you just come up in here and start mandating, and I'm frankly, personally not happy with it. So you are all individually, some of you are great friends of mine, and I respect you, but I think we should come together as a community and really start going in the right direction as a group of people that work together. So that's basically all I have for you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank.
Thanks, Frank.
Andre?
That's why we're here tonight. That's what we're trying to do tonight. Thank you.
Super.
Mark.
Frank, thank you very much. Now I know from your perspective at your business, what you're doing. I'd like to know from other businesses what they're doing. For example, do you allow your employees to
I should add on that, we actually applied to the state previous, 2 days ago, we will be testing regularly at the Springhouse. As long as they give us the test, that is the plan. So, and again, so the state will give businesses tests as long as you regularly test them, which I don't know if you do that. But if you call the health department and sign up, you can register and test your employees as long as you report actual data. And regarding,
Hey, Frank, can I just,
sorry, I'm gonna keep going. For us to make someone take a vaccine is not on my schedule. I'm not going to make someone personally get a vaccine for their reasons and their beliefs. That is not in my nature, nor in my management skills. So I want you guys to respect that. When a server goes up to a table, so before this happened, when you weren't vaccinated, you had to wear a mask. Servers were getting singled out. Why are you wearing a mask? You weren't vaccinated. I don't want you as a server. So there's a lot of things that we have to deal with as a business community that you guys aren't aware of. We try to be, respect everyone. Right now, there's no ventilation in the room. No one has a mask on, so I don't understand why we're all in fear when this is the biggest risk I've been in all week. I'm in a microphone with the community. So I just, please call, please see what we're doing as businesses. And, but we are testing hopefully by next week.
So Frank, what do you do with that unvaccinated worker?
We let them work at their own risk as long as they're not
At their own
contagious.
risk?
Yes, of course. I am vaccinated. I feel safe. I'm here talking to a microphone. Can we ask the doctor what the risk is for a vaccinated person right now? If you're fully vaccinated, what is the actual risk? Is that a fair question?
Dr. Warkup, you there?
I am. So if you're fully vaccinated, you definitely can contract, you're definitely right that you have about a 97% protection rate if you had Moderna, Pfizer, less so if you had Johnson & Johnson, even less so if you've had AstraZeneca, which some members of the working community on the island has been. If you were to contract it as someone who's been vaccinated, the disease has been generally pretty mild. Only 3% of all hospitalizations are currently with people that are post-vaccination and positive, but they continue to be spreaders to other individuals like children or people that are unvaccinated.
And then my other question to you, doctor, do you think this will ever go away in the near future, or are we going to deal with it? And are we going to keep having these meetings and continuing to close businesses down? Or do you think, as me being vaccinated, I'm pretty safe being in the work environment right now?
I think it'll be much like the H1N1 was with the avian flu a number of years ago, where it'll be a very powerful epidemiological event for us for several years. I don't think we want to minimize the hundreds of thousands of people that have died from it, so it's definitely a real event. And people will continue to be affected by it, especially for those that can't be vaccinated, like children or individuals that have chosen to not be vaccinated.
Thank you very much, everyone. Any more questions?
Yeah, actually, Dr. Warkup, it's partly to you and partly to Frank and the other businesses. So I first of all, thank you for everything you just said, and you and I have talked or texted at least about it. But there's a bit of a concern to me about, and a very positive, but also a concern, right? About businesses testing their employees as a business, and the concern has nothing to do with data integrity or that. It's how do we get that data into the bigger pool?
So
let me just for 10 seconds. So my question is, Dr. Warkup, is there a way, let's just pretend a business, whatever business it is, if they test 10 employees and they all come back negative, is there a way that you can incorporate any of that data in your numbers, or how do we, I don't know how to, I just sort of want to make sure we have a total picture, i.e. if you test 10, another business test 10, another business test 10, well, it'd be good to have that 30 added to the number that the medical center is doing so we know it's X. 5 seconds. Dr. Warkup, have you thought through that, or is there a plan for that? I know Frank's trying to raise his hand, but I also wanted to hear from you at the same breath.
Early on, that whoever had the test had to report to the Department of Health. I would assume that they have significantly relaxed that, so that way they're just testing anybody out there. Hopefully, they still have to record any of the positive or negatives like all the medical facilities do. But I just don't think that level of scrutiny is going on. If they were to keep a spreadsheet, since they're static, their employees are probably generally static. If they were to keep a spreadsheet of the days they did it and their results, we could get it to the Department of Health to incorporate it into the larger data set.
Is that something that, excuse me, that the Black Island Medical Center can help do, or is that not a role that's appropriate?
Well, I think it's really not appropriate for us to do it. If the businesses are choosing to do their own testing, I certainly support that. But for full transparency, they know their employees, they know who they're testing, and they should just easily keep it on a spreadsheet. We'll happily get it to the right people at the state.
I think there's a fine line again on people's privacy as well, and the health department was strict on saying we report directly to them. I don't think you can, again, make someone actually take a test at their own, they have to do it at their own will.
Yeah.
So there's a fine line with this on what is right policy for health and privacy. So the health department was very strict on saying we should try to test regularly every week, but we need to report whoever we test. And that goes directly to the health department. So we cannot share it, unfortunately, with everybody since it's a privacy. I would gather, and the health department would probably call the doctor, or actually they would call us and let us know who they're working with. That's basically what I got out of it, so.
Okay, thank you. You understand what I'm trying to do, Frank, right? I know it'd be nice to know the total population being tested. That was my goal.
We need to come up and tell you a little bit. We had a situation this weekend. We had an outbreak.
Can you announce yourself?
Kimberly Ward and Patty Crawley. Oh, Block Island Oyster Bar, Manassas.
Pull it down
Sorry.
a little bit.
Actually,
I'm not used to doing this. Anyway, we had a case, one of our employees who was at the Manassas, one of them, she tested positive. We had every single person in Kimberly's Restaurant, Oyster Bar, Hotel Manassas, we all got checked, okay? Then we had the two girls that were the roommate of the same person. They got checked, they came back negative. They went up on Monday to see Tracy, they got tested positive. Tuesday day, we had all our employees from both restaurants and the Hotel Manassas all checked. And everybody came back negative on Tuesday. So that's on the, firing line of all this situation of what we're trying to do is proactive as we can be.
And then Kimberly, are you going to be testing those people, not regularly, but like Frank said?
I'm going back on Saturday because I'm on the front line. Terry's going back, Patty went back. We are trying to be as productive. If other people are concerned of folks, they go up. I mean, I saw today, I'll keep going up continually, just to make sure. Okay?
Thank you.
Brian?
Brad Martins, I'm going to reiterate what Frank said too. The community, business community, when there are problems, they are all talking very intimately about what's going on, what we're doing. We, similar to Kimberly, we shut down for a day because someone did test positive and someone also tested falsely positive as well. And all of our staff has been tested and is being tested on a regular basis voluntarily. But we're also communicating with all the businesses as well and trying to regulate or self-protect, because we're in this for the long haul as well. And we did a great job last year, at least almost all the businesses did. And I think they continue to do it because it's a concern overall. And I will applaud you that you're not looking at an ordinance versus a resolution, which is virtually, I would say, unenforceable as far as an ordinance goes. But, I'm not going to force someone to wear a mask. I'm not going to get in their face on it. Our staff is voluntarily doing it without even being asked to do it. And I think you're going to find that in most cases, and most of these businesses are doing the same thing. So,
Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. See, the concern with me was, after the last meeting, my concern with the employees that are out there, my concern is more with the ones that test positive, and I just want to make sure everybody has a quarantine room to keep these people separate. And the COVID plans have been dusted off and they've been implemented. So that's been my concern since last year, is people living in groups. And as statewide, it was, Pawtucket, Central Falls, and Providence, I believe, that was the areas of most concern. And I kind of equated that to the employee housing on Block Island because, you know, if one gets in there, I don't know, 2 or 3 to a room, then there's 2 or 3 people to a room. So I just want to ask, does everybody have their COVID plan all dusted off and a quarantine room all set for your employees?
Yes, we do.
We don't have a COVID plan, but at the same time, you also have to understand that, you know, this is not last year. People, at least all of our employees, with the exception of one, and again, I can't force them to do it. They're all vaccinated as well, and they're very comfortable with it. But if there's a concern, you know, we address that as well.
Well, I guess what I'm asking is if somebody tested positive, are you keeping them out of public because they can still spread? Okay, that's I guess the bottom line.
We're all keeping them quarantined.
Right.
They're quarantined.
Whatever you're doing is just keeping them out because I know even vaccinated individuals, you know, they're asymptomatic. If they test positive, they're still shedding. As far as I'm not a doctor, but that's the concern is keeping the positives out of the public realm.
Question to most of the businesses here or anybody, when somebody does test positive, is that a DOH process you go through, your own COVID process that you sort of develop? How is everybody dealing with it? Because I'm sure there are uniquenesses.
So Blake called the Board of Health and he talked to the doctor and said, what do we do? Because at first we didn't get an answer. He called him and he talked to him and he told us what our protocol is and that's what we're following. So that's
The DOH.
But he called them and then followed through. And Tracy, like the other day, they gave the other girls who had the positive, they gave them extra tests. So everybody, you know, we're all trying to do whatever we can do to keep everybody safe in this situation.
And Dr. Warcup, is the DOH communicating with you about tests and or positives in that case? I mean, I know they went up to, Kimberly's group went up to the medical center, but not everybody may do that. So is the DOH in touch with you about this, Dr. Warcup?
The DOH does not confer with us if they test anyone positive outside of the medical center.
They will not confer with you, you said.
They will not confer with us.
So I said that Blake called the doctor from Board of Health. So that's who we talked to directly.
Thank you. Anybody else have any comments on the motion? Mark.
Hi, Mark Scortino, Captain Nick's employee. It's my boss.
Nice saying that, huh?
Feels pretty good, I know, yeah.
Say it again. This is Eric.
Captain Nick's employee.
Chris is wincing.
As many of you know, I lost both of my folks to COVID last year, so I'm very close to the subject. I have a question. Does the town have a Facebook page?
No.
Okay. So, like it or not, Facebook is the way that human beings communicate these days. But one of the problems is that there's no communication. It's very difficult for us to understand what you guys are looking for and what is actually coming down the pipeline at us a lot of times. So I would highly recommend getting a Facebook page and posting updates as to, you know, what's going on. I also think that there's a lot of hyperbole that gets thrown around. I think emotions get involved and things get inflated, and the sense of urgency sometimes maybe becomes a little over-exaggerated and dramatic more than it needs to be. I think the past year was dramatic enough for everybody here, and everyone in this room, more or less, I've seen following all of the protocols and going above and beyond. So a lot of the need for this meeting could have been nipped in the bud if there was an open line of communication where you guys, instead of having to individually call Frankie or, you know, call Kimberly or call Chris or text them, put it out on Facebook. We'd like to hear from the business owners. Can you please message us privately? What are you guys doing? So we know. And then you get these messages come in and you can at your leisure just go through them. Then before you put out any kind of public statement that CNN is going to get a hold of and blow up into a national thing before there's even any need for it, which did happen. they try to do it and put a bad face on Block Island, we can just stop that before it happens. So, you know, I'm more than happy to help if I can give advice. And, you know, we have our podcast, and any information you want us to disseminate that we can help educate the public, we're happy to help. So anything we can do, but that's all. Thanks.
Thanks, Mark.
Yep.
Good luck with your new boss. Comment?
Yeah,
I figured you would.
is this working?
There you go.
So close to it.
I think it's just me and electronics.
Stay there.
No one wants me to talk. I think Mark had a couple of really salient points. One of the things that happened, I feel, I meant to speak for myself, at the last meeting we had, you know, three of us at least were in, oh my God, are we going into this again? And nobody wanted to go back there. And that, I think we were reacting because we didn't have the information. You have to remember, we operate under you have a great deal of freedom in how you can communicate with each other, which we unfortunately do not have. Maybe turn that one off, maybe? What did strike me though in going through this, and I did know some of this because there are various people that I do talk to, I just happen to see on the corner, but is there any central way that, place, is this information go anywhere official, to one place, not to be texted into the whole council so they can get into playing telephone game where everybody has a different version of the same story. We all know where that leads. And just knowing what's going on directly from the businesses to a channel in the town that would just put it, okay, this is what happened, this is what we're doing, period.
Yeah, would that be a Chamber of Commerce thing?
This is what I'm throwing out. But I think that's the problem. I think the lack of communication is a problem here. And the government is not an efficient way to communicate. We all know that. You can communicate to us more easily than we can to you, just because we can't be running around calling you, oh, we heard that.
Right.
You know, nobody wants that.
Right. That's what I'm saying, though. If you get
Mark, just before you go, 1 second, building on Martha's point. Just so everybody knows in the room, technically, there's a discussion about an issue, and I'll just call it the head. I can talk to one council member, and that's it.
Right.
Because of the rolling quorum laws and our laws, go away. I can only talk to one person, and therefore it becomes really distant. Sort of mom and dad.
Right, but as a means for you to gather information, it's, again, something like a Facebook page is an invaluable tool because you can ask a question, right, as the council or as the town, I would assume. I don't think you need to have a meeting to ask for just general information. Hey, can we hear from our businesses? And then again, you can get private messages from the businesses. So like, if you're wondering what they're doing for their COVID protocols, ask them. And that way you don't have to individually text people or send emails or do anything. And then at our leisure, we can get back to you and let you know what we're doing. And then you can at least have the information so that when you go to make a decision, it's more well-informed.
I know Facebook is like the fastest way to help. I know that. I know the
It can be.
I know the misinformation that's out there and people who go on these pages that know nothing about Block Island in 30 years. I'm looking for, and the chamber may be the place, a fund, a place that everything is going, not like spreading out on social media, which is.
I mean, is that what the chamber does? Is the chamber the conduit for the businesses?
We have a remarkably active page that disseminates a lot of information, none of it inaccurate.
Yeah.
We'd be happy to post any information that's helpful for this dialogue.
So maybe the chamber should reach out to businesses as well. And I think it's a community. I think everyone needs to come together, right? And everyone, get the conversation going by any means necessary.
But that means you contradict that, then we should have a conversation. We just have to have the information that, and I think I ran into Blake, and what happened at Madison's, he told me, fine. But, that's just me. And it should, I know, but you don't have to put it on social media, just as long as it goes somewhere that we can access and know. I don't think you have to be spreading this all over, the United States or wherever it is people are allegedly living in the Facebook world. It's really, I think we're making it really more complicated than it has to be.
So, thank you.
That's what we do best.
And then earlier in the meeting, I mentioned the town manager will continue to work with Chamber of Commerce and others to continue to educate the need to get all vaccinated and maintain safe practices. So everybody knows government, it's just what Martha said, government's not a good way to disseminate, to communicate, because we have all these open meeting laws and whatnot. So, and I know that I was with Martha when Blake walked in, and I said, hey, Blake, I heard. And he instantly gave us the information, and it's like, okay, thank you for that. So, but I also know that Lars took some information from the business owners, and shared it with the town manager recently. Right? I have yet to see that, and I'm in the decision-making process. This is why we're here tonight, is to discuss this. I would say off the top of my head that the chamber should work with the town manager, and then the town manager disseminates the information to the town council. That's the legal way to do that right now. But right now, we don't have a conduit for, Frankie, I see it. We don't have a conduit to go for everybody to tell us what's going on. And like I said, Sven gets the information from someone. Martha and I just happened to be in Mary Ann's office the other day when Blake walked in. So yeah, it would be really great if we could have the chamber. I think the easy way to do this right now, that we can implement this tonight moving forward, is the chamber or the business owners. No.
I have a suggestion. I think what you did earlier this week, I think you should have called for a business meeting, public business meeting here, and asked us what we're doing. Instead of mandating a mask wearing out of the blue without even asking anybody, I think you should have called this meeting in discussion and got our feedback with the microphone on record, with the newspaper. And I also suggest that the town of Block Island gets a PR person or someone that can actually help you guys give the message that you're hoping for, instead of negatively hitting the town over and over again. I think this town really needs a public relations person, because.
Correction, we didn't mandate anything.
We called to mandate mask wearing is the headline, I think, all over the news.
Yeah. Me personally, I don't need Facebook and all that other stuff. If you have something to say, tackle me, call me, or whatever.
No, I think it should be an open discussion before you pull ordinances.
So my phone number's in the book, call me anytime.
I'd rather talk to you on microphone in front of everybody, to be perfectly honest. So, that's what.
And not, because I'm talking to you then. Mark, I sympathize with Mark. I lost an aunt, uncle, and a cousin. So I don't take this lightly. When we came together on Monday, we didn't come with the intention of having a mandate. We had an aha moment after about a half an hour, and that's the direction it took. From listening to input from everyone, from the doctor to everyone who called in. That's how it got to that point.
She reacted.
Now, that's what one
reacted without facts. You reacted impulsively.
You react.
Without any form of intelligence or any research, you reacted impulsively.
You know something? You're kind of winning here, so I wouldn't be so adversarial, okay?
Understood, sir.
So with that, tonight, the same thing is happening. the same thing is happening, right? We might have come with an idea of how we might want to sway. I've been swayed the other way after hearing from the business owners, so that's how it works. And so, again, non-adversarial, you listen, and that's how I make my decisions.
I just think all Frank is saying, Mark, is that this could have been prevented, what I was trying to say is this could have been prevented with a conversation with the businesses before you even approach the mandate issue. And that's what I think Frankie and all of us are asking for moving forward.
We got a lot of medical information in a very short amount of time, and that's why we went in the direction we went.
And that's
But this is what this discussion.
And then in hindsight, if you pass tonight, our liquor license is on the line, technically. We don't do what you say. We can't afford to buy masks for people. Say this all happens, how do we even, no one around is enforcing this, so we have 1,000 people at the Spring House indoors, do I have to hand out masks to everybody? And if I don't, you're gonna take my liquor license away? So there's a lot of,
When it appears that you're winning, you should probably take it down.
oh, so I am winning. I'm not trying to win, sir, I'm trying to enlighten you on what we could have went through.
So let me just cut in here really quick. At our meeting the other night, we were working off of data that was handed to us by the doctor.
Sure.
So to be yeah, maybe our decision and our conversation may have sounded adversarial to the business community, but business community to me is just one group of people that I have to deal with in making policy for the town. So, I look at I look at the children, I look at the kids going to school. Some kids, we just talked at, some kids, at the age, they have no option to get vaccinated. So we were seeing numbers rising, and kids can't get vaccinated. They don't have the luxury of vaccination. We just had a meeting the other night, 2 weeks ago, and we all were saying in this room how great it was to have families back on Block Island. So what is that? That's families with kids. We see them all. They're coming back this year, more so than last year. So it's that kind of thinking that I put into my consideration is other groups other than the businesses. And while you are a large part of this community and you are the economic engine of this community, I think of the children that got to go to school this week, the children that are coming out with their parents for these vacations, and in the year-round residents who may not be as, we know how a lot of the residents feel. I'm not adversarial. I don't want to be adversarial to the businesses. That's why I'm asking for some kind of conduit to come to us before we can get to these decisions about your businesses.
And I'm not trying to start a fight or start a war here,
No, I understand.
I think if you have open meetings like tonight,
Right.
instead of impulsively going down like last year with live entertainment outside, I'm not trying to go backwards, I'm trying to go forwards, but I think this meeting is beautiful. I think it's an open room, we can talk about what we're doing instead of mandating and trying to pass an ordinance.
We're not mandating. We're not here to mandate anything.
Yeah, I understand.
Brad.
We appreciate what you're doing and what you're doing right now. And I think all the businesses would appreciate to be able to give you more input in an open meeting, as Frank's suggesting as well. It is difficult for us to come here at 7 p.m. during the week, during July and August to do that. We would be jumping at the chance to do that with you guys in the morning, perhaps lunchtime, something like that. But we're here because of what did happen on Monday, okay, and the perception of it and the way the news was covering it as well. We're just giving you that feedback because we wanted to make sure you heard from us as well.
I have to say this. I really appreciate the fact that everybody is here, appreciate the fact that you're speaking, appreciate the fact that you're being honest with us. But we all know what the news does, and some of you may not remember this. Several years ago, the boat didn't run for 2 days in the winter. And Providence News is down in Point Judith with this big story about the boat isn't running to Block Island. Well, the boat didn't run for 3 days in a row, which actually was news. 2 days wasn't. Did they even mention it on the news in Providence? Oh no, it's probably somebody got shot in Providence that night. We all know that. And I don't really think, I think we're reacting too much to the news that is become this crazy cycle that just comes and goes awfully quickly. Because people are still here. People still seem to be enjoying Block Island this summer. That's my observation downtown. People are pleasant, people are happy. We couldn't have open meetings last summer, if you recall. We just couldn't do it. And we hope we're able to continue. That's what we want to do. And nobody wants to be here at 7 o'clock on a Wednesday night when we didn't expect, Thursday night, you don't even know what day it is, when we didn't expect to have to be here. And we very much appreciate your coming. But again, I'm going to go back to this. All we need is really, and I always say as it comes to me is, I think what I ask for is so simple, when we can get there. Just let us know what's happened. If you have something that's happened at your place, if you had to shut down for a night, until this thing is over, just get it into the town manager's office. It's there, she knows it. It doesn't have to go to everybody. Do not, believe me, my ego is not such that you have to come and talk to me about this. You've got better things to do. Send it to one person, send it to the chamber, let the chamber send it to the manager, however you all think it best works. Just, we don't want to, again, we keep saying this, I've said this 3-4 times already tonight. We just want to hear the same thing from the same source and have it clear and concise and simple, and it's over, and that's it. And not have to be spending anywhere near as much time as I spent talking about it.
Thank you, Martha. Does anybody have any comments? Kimberly?
Like on Tuesday, people were tested, and I don't think it was a case, I'm not going to say definitely, but everybody came back and there were many people on Tuesday getting tested. And it was only
Remember my family.
I wasn't here, but I'm just saying, there was, so just,
I got a full report. Remember my family. So.
I think today was the same, so I'm sure.
You have 2 participants on Zoom at least.
The room good? Good.
So just to build on what Frank said, I am the only one that has the perspective of sitting there during the first decision in the ordinances that's sitting here as someone that can be that's going to be impacted by it, although I was impacted by it when we made the first decision. My point is I think it was Julie Fuller asked the very same thing that Frank just asked about engage with the business community. So what happened on Monday, I totally get. I've been there. You get all this data. I think the next step would be to call this meeting without that piece of paper. Asking for the business input. Even just call it business meeting. It doesn't have to be an official town meeting. You can call it the next day if you were about to. But we did, we went through that the first go around. I don't know if you all recall.
Oh, yeah.
And Frank has a good point. That's why all these businesses are here, because it came down after Monday as the hammer's coming down on Thursday. Not, let's get some input from the businesses and see what everybody's doing before we make any decision. It's just, again, perception.
And Chris, I agreeing 100% with all of this tone. The subject of the agenda item was discuss and act on emergency town orders to mitigate the spread of COVID, protect the health, safety, laws. So I mean, that was the intent, and agree with you on the paper, but I think we're all trying to do that, and maybe I like the idea of the chamber, maybe what we do.
So let me jump in here. After Monday's 19th, the council members said to me to reach out to the chamber and find out their COVID plans and stuff like that. My first phone call on Tuesday morning was to Lars. And I asked Lars to reach out to the membership, and he did. And based on the continued conversation Lars and I had in the last 2 or 3 days, I think I now have him on speed dial, led to some of the discussion that I think is before you tonight, to have a change in an emergency ordinance versus a resolution I don't want anyone to leave this room thinking that there's no communication between the businesses and the town. Mars and I have been talking continually for the past 48 hours, which led to some of the discussion I had with some of the counselors as to how I would advise you to go with where you're going this evening. It was through the conversation I had with the counselors that led from an emergency ordinance to what appears to be a resolution that'll be before the council on Monday with a recommendation and a request that people wear masks indoors. So I just want to be clear on that, that I just don't want folks to leave this room thinking there's no dialogue between the town and the businesses. I funneled through one person, which is Lars. If you prefer me to funnel through someone else, let me know. But that's what I've been doing in my short tenure here, is funneling through Lars.
And just so everyone knows, it was before this even happened, that Lars posted something a week before, and I made the staff wear masks because of what Lars posted through. And we got in the hotel saying, Dr. Warcock advises people, I forgot what the exact word were, but I think it was a week before, and that's why I said, every staff member should wear a mask regardless of protection. So it is working when he sends emails and whatever you guys talk about, because our staff gets the same email as well, so it does work.
Bill McComb? Yeah, Bill McComb, as the EMA director. I think one thing I want to point out, I think that the council listened, which I think was great. I think the business owners spoke, which is great. From an EMA standpoint of view, we always tend to look, I think, in life as a glass, what needs to be filled and so forth. But there's a lot of good things going on. The fact that we have the state and the DMAT team coming out, testing people at the fire bond, not once, several times a week. We have vaccines that are available, whether it's Moderna or whether it's Pfizer, for people's choice. I think we're taking a lot of good steps. And when I listened to the business people in this room today, I was impressed with some of the things that you have that are going on. And not so much just for the council. If I was a visitor coming to this island, I feel pretty comfortable with what you put in place. So I think this community effort between, what we have in place that's going on, continuing to get people vaccinated. It's nice to hear the plans that the businesses have here. I think, while we're all trying to do better, I think we're on a good path. And listen, we can't control what will happen. We're going to deal with what it is. We may end up with masks someday. Unfortunately, we may not. But the fact that I think all in all, I think from the flip side to this, I think everyone is heading in the right direction and are on the same page. And if I were a tourist or if I was a summer resident out there, I'd feel pretty good about going out to dinner, or the fact that, Block Island isn't left alone like any other community. We're very proactive and we're going to continue to be. Thank you.
Well said, Chief. Amelia, you got some calls from the public?
I have one at this point. And
If Bill talks more than the one you guys.
this is 339-7367. Please unmute yourself. Seven three six seven, phone number ending in 7367. If you'd like to unmute yourself, you can speak. You're unmuted. You may speak. Nice. 7367. Did you have a comment?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, could you
Hello?
say your name for the record, please?
This is Susie Garno, business owner. How are you guys?
Susie, I didn't hear the name.
Susie
Susie Garno, we can hear you. What's on your mind this evening?
Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you for having this meeting. Earlier, it was mentioned for the chamber to help, and I just wanted to share with everybody that the first notice that Dr. Workup put out, I went down to help Lars to go distribute masks to the retail businesses on Water Street. So I think we are trying to do our part. And in my shops, I'm having my employees wear masks, and the reception from the customers have been really good. They respect us for wearing them. They come in, they ask, would you like us to wear them? And we're like, no, it's your choice. And I know you guys just wanted some more feedback from other businesses, so I just wanted to let you know.
Thank you, Susie. Much appreciated. And I do want to reiterate that any business owner who wants to require masks of their patrons is more than welcome to do so. And I will further state that I had a conversation with the chief the other day, and if anybody's having any problems, if you're wearing a mask and someone comes into your establishment and is harassing you for that, you are to call the police department and they will come and help you out. So I just wanted to get that out there in the public.
Great, well, we appreciate everything. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Susie. Anybody else? Anybody else in the public? Motion is made and seconded. All those in favor? Mark? Aye. Steph, what's your name? Steph? Aye. You guys switch seats every single time.
Is this a motion?
Do you want to make a motion?
Please summarize it.
The motion was to direct the town solicitor and the town manager to draft a resolution encouraging / requesting all to wear a face mask when in public, when in a public building. The resolution, and when that's it, and that resolution will be voted on when they produce it on Monday, on our August 2nd meeting. Public.
So we'll find it in the resolution.
We'll be fine. Because we're gonna vote, we're gonna like this. I'm in favor. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you guys, everybody for coming. Monday night, same time, Brad. I know it's Hey, Steve. Very good. Thank you.